Development and Entrepreneurship, for which I would like to invite on stage Mr. Shri Ramesh, Global Delivery Head, Managing Director, State Street. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Good afternoon. I hope the energy still remains after some great messages I heard. It's been absolute inspiration for me to sit in the audience and listen to some amazing stories about how this foundation formed and how the things shaped up. 15 million students are coming out of the colleges every year. 1.5 crore people are coming out of the colleges. It's very unfortunate that only about 30% are getting into a job opportunity. Let me support that by taking 3 businesses or segments of business for you to connect the dots. I'll start with the area where I belong to, the information technology and the information technology enabled services business, the IT and the IT enabled services business. Most of the people who are joining these organizations are from the engineering sector. 1.5 million students are completing engineering every year. And it's quite unfortunate to share with you that just about 300,000, 3 lakh and maybe 4 lakh people are getting into a job stream every year. The question to ask is, what is happening to the rest of the students? On the top of it, only 1.4%, just 1.4% of the people are actually ready with the latest technology, which is a buzzing word in the market, artificial intelligence. Just 1.4%. And the survey that was conducted by NASSCOM revealed that only 4.5% people of this 1.5 million are actually in a position to do real programming, real coding. And the numbers go on from the sector where about $320 billion of this particular industry, the IT and IT-enabled services industry, which is catering to the needs of 7.2 million people in the job opportunity. In this 7.2 million people, most of them coming out of the colleges are coming with absolutely no skill connected to this industry. Let me switch the gears to MSME. We heard about MSME many times today. This sector is about 110 million people working. According to the survey reports, little over 75% of this 110 million people needs to be reskilled. They are not ready for taking care of the new opportunities within this sector. And the survey report says just about 8% of this 110 million people are coming actually skilled. Only 8% of the 110 million people are coming skilled. In a summary, we are talking about Industry 4.0, but the kind of skills we have got in this country are probably only good for Industry 2.0. There is a huge gap that we need to cover in the skill development side. The next one is the startup, where many entrepreneurs are sitting in this room today. The startup eco-culture, which is something that you already heard from our dignitaries, that we are the 3rd largest startup world, among all the other worlds around. According to the data that has been produced by NASSCOM, more than 70% of the startups are struggling to get skilled workers today, 70% of them. And the loss or the impact is very high because 40% of the money spent by the startups is only in identifying skilled workers to come on board. These are the 3 industries, but I'm sure people who are sitting in the room today can connect the dots that many of the companies that you are working with, you are facing skilled workforce as a major challenge. According to the report that is given by IBM and also endorsed by NASSCOM, the National Association of Software Services Companies, $80 billion is the loss India is probably incurring every year just because of the productivity loss we are going through every day. Now let me actually bring back this story connecting to my story. I did my engineering in 1980s with electronics and communication as a branch. And what is a bit of a sad story is even after 40 years, I'm talking about 1984 and this is now 2025, after 41 years. Subjects that I studied back in 1980s are still being taught in the colleges. And we are sitting here and talking about Vikasit Bharat, Make in India, transformation, getting ready to improve our GDP, and those things cannot happen unless as a collective group we focus on skill development, making education relevant to the employability. Since I came back to the country, I left the country in 1996. I came back to the country in 2009. Thanks to Bank of America, they had an office here. It helped me to be able to come back through that company to work out of the. But somehow Delhi is connected to me because I did my master's from Delhi in 1990. I am well connected to this city. And I'm still connected because through Bank of America, I had a very large team in Gurugram, and I'm well connected to the entire ecosystem here. Since I came back, I've realized that the banking, financial services and insurance sector, BFSI sector, which is 5 out of 10 jobs in the world. I'm not just talking about the national banks like State Bank of India or the private banks like ICICI. I'm just talking about the export business, which is the $320 billion business, where companies like Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, State Street, and Invesco, Franklin Templeton, Barclays, RBS, UBS, if you take any of the financial services companies, they have got a large workforce here. Of the 72 lakh people who are working in this sector, almost 32 lakh people are actually in this sector today. They could be doing technology work, they could be doing business operations work, project management work, finance work, HR work, but they're all actually working for the BFSI sector. And I'm sorry to tell you that not even a single education course in this country is getting anybody into our company with a relevant knowledge. Not even a single course. You might be saying, well, what about MBA in finance? I'm sorry, MBA in finance is for you to be able to do a finance accounting work. That's only like 0.001% jobs in our company. Majority of it is actually in business operations, and majority of it is actually in the technology delivery. So since I came back, while I come back to Delhi to teach in my own university, University of Delhi South Campus, which is not too far away from here, I have realized that there is an opportunity for me to contribute back to the community by changing education and making it relevant to the employability. BFSI Consortium, the Banking, Financial Services and Insurance Consortium, you can Google it and then find out the details, is such non-profit that got created 3 years back with the help of 4 other colleagues from the industry, a managing director from HSBC, managing director from JP Morgan Chase, a managing director from London Stock Exchange Group, and also a leader from Mass Mutual, which is also a global insurance company. 5 of us have come together. For the first time, we sat for nearly about a year and we designed the entire curriculum. The curriculum has a fine balance of domain knowledge, technology knowledge, and a behavioral knowledge. So think of it like this. If any of your kids are going to an engineering college today, they have a major in civil, mechanical, electrical, electronic degree, they can actually go through this course in the same college and get a minor degree in financial services. So for the first time in the country, and I can profoundly tell you that now that I lived outside the world, between Australia, Singapore, US and other countries I worked, I can tell you confidently that I don't think we have any course like this anywhere. So the BFSI Consortium is primarily to create a minor degree program, both for engineering and degree colleges, where the student can go through this process, get a minor degree, and they can come and work in our company for a much higher salary and a much higher title to start off with. So to give you an example, instead of joining as a teller in a banking center, you can actually join as a banking manager and grow in your career. Instead of joining as a constable in a law enforcement, you can actually join as an assistant commissioner of police and then build your career. The BFSI Consortium is primarily focused on the skill development. And today, I'm glad to share with you that the state of Telangana, we are implementing this program for 11,000 students. 6,000 of them are engineering and 5,000 of them are actually degree students. And a similar number, we have it in Karnataka, launched that program on September 8th of this year. And we recently presented this to Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, the Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, and he is very keen to take this program to Andhra Pradesh, and similar inquiries have come from North. I'm standing here to tell you profoundly that coming from a very small town, just like some of the dignitaries who spoke about, Mr. Yadav, who was so inspiring for me about him retiring out of the railway general manager role, and he told that he has come from a small town. I do come from a very small town, a place called Tenali. I'm sure you know about Tenali Rama, where I actually did my entire in the colloquial language, the Telugu medium. The first time I actually started to study English is in engineering. If I can come forward and make an impact to the community, coming out of one of these organizations where I could make an impact, I think collectively KFA can take the lead to make an impact into the talent work stream. I would like to conclude by sharing my story with you that if a BFSA consortium can change the entire talent landscape in improving the education to employability real, 15 years from now, instead of just hearing only Mr. Sundar Pichai being the Google CEO, or we are talking about the Microsoft CEO being the person, we can also see a potential Indians taking the role of a CEO of a Bank of America or a Wells Fargo or a JP Morgan Chase. So in conclusion, I would like to offer my support for KFA. If they can identify the colleges through this group, I'm happy to take this program as a part of my. And thank you once again for the opportunity to support BFSA Consortium for talent skilling and take this program forward. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kaza Ramesh, for sharing such valuable insights with all of us.